This is part 27 of a step-by-step restoration of a Singer Model 337. Now that I've restored the machine and made all the adjustments to factory specs, for the first time I'm going to sew on this machine. And this is a normal process for me, just to run through any stitch that the machine is supposed to be able to do. So I'm just going to get it set up here, and I will start with a straight stitch, center needle at the longest stitch, number 6 stitches per inch. And here we go. So after this first run, I want to check the stitch. It's beautiful, it's straight, and it's very balanced. So I'm using a blue on the bottom, pink on the top. So when I look at the top, I don't have any blue thread pulled up, and on the bottom I don't have any pink thread pulled down, which is what you want for a balanced stitch. So what I'll do now is just go to a medium length stitch of about 12 per inch. Same thing, straight, center needle. I'll sew about half the length there, then I'll go up to a fine stitch, 20 per inch. And then I'll try and go above that into the fine area. Oops, it's a little bit too fine. I got to get the feed dogs to move it a little bit. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty fine stitch there. Okay. Come back down here some. Come over. Now what I want to do is I'll go to about 8, and I'll do a left, center, right position on a straight stitch. So there's needle position. Gotta have the needle up out of there. Needle position left. Come up, center, come up, and right. That's going to test for me if I've got that adjusted properly. And it seemed to be to me when I was cleaning it and everything. I looked at it and it looked fine. The next thing I'm going to do on the flip side over here is I'm going to start running some zigzag. So this is a number 1 width. I'd say about 1 millimeter wide. Then I'll go to a 2 millimeter wide. These are all at 8, stitch length 8. Then a 3. And then I'll end with a 4 wide. I'm interested to look at the balance of these stitches, because normally when you go to a zigzag, especially above 2, you want to use less upper tension, and I didn't change the tension. But let's see what we've got here. Maybe how can I do that? So here's our finer stitch, very, very fine. Well, let me turn it like this, because this was all number 6, and then I started with an 8, 10, 12, 20. When I tried to go above 20, it started tearing. It was too close. What was happening, the feed dogs were almost in a neutral position, so it wasn't pulling it along. Then I flipped side and I did a number 1 zigzag, 2, 3, and 4. And actually the stitch balance is pretty good. From my perspective, I can see a little bit of the blue being pulled up, and that's because this upper tension was still set for straight, and I should have lowered it from about a 3.5 down to about a 2. So I'm going to do a full number 4 at the longest I can, 6, with the lower upper tension to see if that stitch is still going to be balanced. And that's why you lower it, because the needle is swinging like crazy, so you want a little less upper tension. So I'm good on the top. Let's see how the bottom came out. Now this time it was a little too light. If you see it here, it's pulling in, the bobbin tension was stronger than the upper tension thread, so it's pulling in a little bit of the upper thread down below. So instead of just over 2, let me get up closer to 3 and run that stitch again and see if that balances the stitch better. I think it will. So it's still good on the top, balanced. You see the bottom here. Yeah, it's more balanced. It's just barely pulling a dot of the upper thread down. So not bad. I can live with that. That's some nice stitching for sure. So evidently the oh, and that was right too. I didn't even have that in center. Let me run it one more time along this edge right here. I forgot to put the needle back in the center position, so that might have had something to do with it. I guess it shouldn't though, because you can sew in the right needle position zigzag, but let's check it anyway. So I'm at 3. Oh, there we go. So it's going to be this zigzag down the middle here. Let's check it back here. Didn't make, yeah, a little tiny bit better by having it in the center. But you should be able to sew almost any stitch with your needle left, center, right, either any position. I'm going to go back to a straight stitch at about a 7, and I want to test the reverse stitching now. Let's get this up. Normally you want to start sewing when the take-up lever's at the top. Then you don't have to worry about your thread getting pulled out of the needle. So I'm just going to go along here, and then I'll throw it into reverse on the fly. So reverse is fine. So all my test sewing says that my upper tension is adjusted pretty good. My bobbin tension is okay. Left, center, right works. Reverse works. And each position, straight stitch 1, 2, 3, and width 4, all work good. I'm going to sew some lightweight polyester here. Just do a pretty fine stitch on that just to see how it does here. And since this is lightweight, I'm going to put less presser foot tension. I don't want to chew up the fabric here. And let me go up to about a 15 stitches per inch, center needle, straight. So of course it had no problem with the penetration, but look at that nice, that's a very fine stitch. That's about 15 or 16 stitches per inch. So if you wanted a really good hem or a seam on fine fabric, this machine would do it just fine. And it's balanced, no pink on the bottom, no blue on the top. Real nice balanced lock stitch. The next thing I'm going to do, this is denim. I know it's white, but it's a pocket from an old pair of white Levi's. And I'm just going to sew some straight stitch here. It's 2 layers of heavy Levi denim. Put a little pressure back on that. Stitch of tension of about 4. Let me go down to about 8 stitches per inch, and let's run it through here and get my needle up. Yeah, you can tell I don't sew much. All right, get that under there. Now let's do it. So not a problem sewing 2 layers of denim in a straight stitch. Let me go over here and I'll go to a number 3 zigzag and see how that does. So not a problem. You can easily hem a pair of jeans. Nice bounce stitch. Again, no blue on the top, no pink on the bottom. It's a pretty stitch. Now this is well, let's do this end here. This is a folded over. How can I show you this here? It's a rolled seam, at least 2 layers of denim, and this is a rolled seam. This is, you know, the edging around the pocket on a pair of Levi's. So that would be 4 layers, and I'll see if I can get over this double seam, which would be 8 layers of denim. I don't know if it'll do that. And this is not a denim needle. This is just a standard sewing needle. You know, usually for denim you're going to want to use about a 14 or probably a 16. The denim needles are, I think. But here's the 4 layers on a zigzag. Let's see, my needle's up, so let me go to straight and reverse. And then let me get back on that seam. I'm going to see, I don't know if I've got the lift to get over this 8 layers of denim, but we'll try. So I'm going to go forward, number 6, Center needle, straight stitch. Let's see what happens. Gotta remember to start up at the top. Alright, here we go. Straight stitch from 4, and we'll see about the 8 layers. Whoop. I think I got my thread hung up here. Yeah. Got my thread tangled around that. If my wife was watching me do this, she'd be laughing. So don't feel bad if you're laughing too. Okay. Let's try it again now. Alright. So, levers up. Straight stitch. Center needle. Number 6 length. Number 4 tension. A little bit more pressure foot because I've got 4 layers here. So let's see how that does now. Hey, it's not going to do it this time or what? Uh-oh. Sounds like my belt is slipping. See that? So I guess that belt, look at that. I guess that belt warmed up a little bit. And now it's stretched out. Oop, come on up, come on. No, not gonna go. Am I missing something here? Oh, let's try that. Nope. My thread did come out of one of the guides, but that's just penetration. I can hear the motor going, but yeah, look. So I think the belt's broken in, quote unquote. So I'll go ahead and tighten that belt, but I'm very happy. Let me take it out like this maybe. I'm real happy with the way that stitch came out. That is really some nice looking stitching here. Fine straight stitch, medium, zigzag. This was 4 layers over here. No problem. My foot pedal, by the way, I left it plugged in for about an hour while I had dinner, and it didn't get warm or anything, so I didn't over adjust it. So I would say the stitch forming performance is A1, really good. Not a problem. I'm satisfied with that. I'll go in and just take that little concentric and tighten the belt a little bit now, and see if that won't take care of that. That shouldn't be a problem. That's what that adjustment is for. So that was the sewing test on the Singer Model 337, step-by-step restoration. Came out looking really good, I think. Thanks for watching. Take care.